Hello and welcome to Games from Folktales, a podcast that mixes historical research and tabletop role-playing settings. I'm your host, Timothy Ferguson, this week with a plot hook from Chaucer. I love reading about con artists. I'm an unskilled liar myself. They have what seems like a superpower to me. So when I saw a con man in the Canterbury Tales, I wanted to share him with you. Technically, to make this Ars Magica related, we need a plot hook. So, plot hook. A con man pretending to be an alchemist has taken £40 from a nobleman. He thinks the order, being magi, are involved and should pay. Can they find the sham artist and deliver him to the noble to ease relations? Honour being satisfied, it's time for a slightly modernised version of Chaucer. Time for the Canon Yeoman's Tale from LibriVox. Thanks to Joshua Young for recording and releasing it.
In London was a priest, in Unalwhere, that therein dwelled had many a year, which was so pleasant and so serviceable unto the wife, whereas he was at table, that she would suffer him no thing to pay for board nor clothing, when he ne'er so gay, and spending silver had he right enow, thereof no force will proceed as now, and tell forth my tale of the canon that brought this priest to confusion. This false canon came upon a day unto the priest's chamber where he lay, beseeching him to lend him a certain of gold, and he would quitten him again. "Lend me a mark," quoth he, "but days 3, and at my day I will it quite thee. And if it so be that thou find me false, another day hang me up by the halse." This priest him took a mark, and that as swithe, and this canon him thanked him often sithe, and took his leave, and went forth his way, and at the 3rd day brought his money. And to the priest he took his gold again, whereof this priest was wondrous glad and fain. "Certes," quoth he, "nothing annoyeth me, to lend a man a noble or 2 or 3, or what thing were in my possession, when he so true is of condition, that in no wise he break will his day. To such a man I never can say nay." "What?" quoth this canon, "should I be untrue? Nay, that were thing y-fallen all of new. Truth is a thing that I will ever keep, unto the day in which that I shall creep into my grave, and else God forbid. Believe this as sicker as your creed. God thank I, and in good time be it said, that there was never man yet evil apaid for gold or silver that he to me lent, nor ever falsehood in mine heart I meant. And, sir," quoth he, "now of my privity, since ye so goodly have been unto me, and give to me so great gentleness, somewhat to quit with your kindness, I will you shew, and if you list to lear, I will you teach plainly the manner how I can worken in philosophy. Take good heed, ye shall well see at eye, that I will do a mastery ere I go." "Yea?" quoth the priest, "Yes, sir, and will ye so? Marry, thereof I pray you heartily." "At your commandment, sir, truly," quoth the canon, "and else God forbid, lo, how this thief could his service bed." Full sooth it is that such proffered service stinketh, as witness these old wise, and that full soon I will it verify in this canon, root of all treachery, that evermore delight had and gladness, such fiendly thoughts in his heart impress, how Christ's people he may to mischief bring. God keep us from his false dissimuling. What wist this priest with whom that he dealt? Nor of his harm coming he nothing felt. O silly priest, O silly innocent, with covetise anon thou shalt be blent. O graceless, full blind is thy conceit, for nothing art thou aware of the deceit which that this foxy shapen hath to thee. His wily wrenches thou not mayest flee. Wherefore, to go to the conclusion that referreth to thy confusion, unhappy man, anon I will me hie to tell thine unwit and thy folly, and eke the falseness of that other wretch, as far forth as that my conning will stretch. This canon was my lord, ye would ween, Sir host, in faith, and by the heaven's queen, it was another canon, and not he, the can an hundredfold more subtlety. He hath betrayed folks many a time, of his falseness it dolleth me to rhyme, and ever when I speak of his false head, For shame of him my cheeks wax red. All gates they begin for to glow, For redness have I none, right well I know, In my visage for fumes diverse Of metals, which ye have me heard rehearse, Consumed have and wasted my redness. Now take heed of this canon's cursedness. "Sir," quoth he to the priest, "let your man gon For quicksilver, that we it had anon, And let him bring ounces 2 or 3, And when he comes, as fast shall ye see A wondrous thing, which ye saw ne'er ere this." "Sir," quoth the priest, "it shall be done y was." He bade his servant fetch him this thing, And he all ready was at his bidding, And went him forth, and came anon again, With this quicksilver shortly for to sayn, And took these ounces 3 to the canon, And he laid them well and fair down, And bade the servant coals for to bring, That he anon might go to his working. The coals right anon weren y fit, And this canon he took a crosslet Out of his bosom, and showed it to the priest. "This instrument," quoth he, "which that thou seest, Take in thine hand, and put thyself therein, Of this quicksilver an ounce, and here begin, In the name of Christ, to wax a philosopher. There be full few, which that I would proffer, To show them thus such of my science. For here shall ye see by experience, That this quicksilver I will mortify, Right in your sight, anon without lie, And make it as good silver and as fine As there is any in your purse, or mine, Or elsewhere, and make it malleable, And elles hold me false and unable Among folk for ever to appear. I have a powder here that cost me dear, Shall make all good, for it is cause of all my conning, Which that I you shew shall. Void your man, and let him be thereout, And shut the door, while we be about Our privity, that no man us espy, While that we work in this philosophy." All, as he bade, fulfilled was indeed. This eke servant right anon out yede, And his master shut the door anon, And to their labour speedily they gon. This priest, at this cursed canon's bidding, Upon the fire anon he set this thing, And blew the fire, and busied him full fast, And this canon unto the crosslet cast A powder, I know not whereof it was, Y made either of chalk, either of glass, Or somewhat else, was not worth a fly, To blinden with this priest, and bade him hie The coals for to couchen all above The crosslet. "For in token I thee love," quoth this canon, "thine own handes too Shall work all thing that there shall be do." "Grand mercy," quoth the priest, and was full glad, And couched the coals as the canon bade. And while he busy was, this fiendly wretch, This false canon, thou foul fiend him fetch, Out of his bosom took a breechen coal, In which full subtifly was made a hole, And therein put was of silver limaile An ounce, and stopped was without fail. The hole was wax, to keep the limaile in. And understand that this false gin Was not made there, but it was made before. And other things I shall tell you more Hereafterward, which that he with him be brought. Ere he came there, him to beguile he thought, And so he did, ere that they wente wit. Till he had turned him, could he not blin. It doleth me, when that I of him speak, Of his falsehood fain would I me wreak, If I wist how, but he is here and there. He is so variant, he abides nowhere. But take heed, sirs, now for God's love. He took his coal, of which I spake above, And in his hand he bare it privily. And while the priest couched busily The coals, as I told you ere this canon said, "Friend, ye do amiss. This is not couched as it ought to be, But soon I shall amenden it," quoth he. "Now let me meddle therewith but a while, For of you have I pity, by Saint Gill. Ye be right hot, I see well how ye sweat. Have here a cloth, and wipe away the wet." And while that the priest wiped his face, This canon took his coal, with sorry grace, And laid it above on the midward Of the crosslet, and blew well afterward, Till that the coals began fast to brin. "Now give us drink," quoth this canon then, "And swith all shall be well, I undertake. Sit we down, and let us merry make." And when that this canon's breechen coal was burnt, All the mail out of the hole Into the crosslet anon fell down. And so it must needs by reason, Since it above so even couched was. But thereof wist the priest no thing. Alas! He deemed all the coals alike good. for of the sleight he nothing understood. And when this alchemister saw his time, "Rise up, Sir Priest," quoth he, "and stand by me, and for I wot well ingot have ye none. Go, walk forth, and bring me a chalk stone, for I will make it of the same shape that is in ingot, if I may have hap. Bring eke with you a bowl, or else a pan, full of water, and ye shall well see then how that our business shall happen prive. And yet, for ye shall have no misbelieve, nor wrong conceit of me in your absence, I will not be out of your presence, but go with you, and come with you again." The chamber door shortly for to say, and they opened and shut, and went their way, and forthwith them they carried the key, and came again without any delay. "Why should I tarry all the long day? He took the chalk, and shaped it in the wise of an ingot, as I shall you devise. I say he took out of his own sleeve a tein of silver, evil may he chieve, which that he was but just an ounce of weight. And take heed now of his cursed sleight. He shaped his ingot in length and in brid of this tein without any dread, slow slyly that the priest it not espied, and in his sleeve again he gan it hide. And from the fire he took up his matter, and in the ingot put it with merry cheer, and in the water vessel he it cast, when that him list, and bade the priest as fast, "Look what there is. Put in thine hand and grope. There shalt thou find silver, as I hope." "What, devil of hell, should it else be? Shaving of silver, silver is, pardie." He put his hand in, and took up a tein of silver fine, and glad in every vein was this priest, when he saw that it was so. "God's blessing, and his mother's also, and all hallows have ye, Sir Canon," said this priest, "and I their malison. But an ye vouchsafe to teach me this noble craft and this subtlety, I will be yours in all that ever I may," quoth the canon. "Yet will I make assay this second time, that ye may take heed, and be expert of this, and in your need another day assay in mine absence this discipline and this crafty science. Let take another ounce," quoth he though, "of quicksilver, without words mo', and do therewith as ye have done ere this, with that other which that now silver is." The priest him busied all that e'en he can, to do as this canon, this cursed man, commanded him, and fast he blew the fire, for to come to the effect of his desire. And this canon, right in the meanwhile, all ready was this priest eft to beguile, and for a countenance in his hand bare All Hallows stick, take keep and beware, of silver limaile put was, as before, was in his coal, and stopped with wax well, for to keep in his limaile every deal. And while this priest was in his business, this canon with his stick gan him dress, to him anon, and his powder cast in, as he did erst. The devil out of his skin him turn, I pray to God, for his false head, for he was ever false in thought and deed. And with his stick, above the crosslet, that was ordained with that false get, he stirred the coals, till rinnet gan, the wax against the fire, as every man, but he a fool be, knows well it must need, and all that in the stick was out yede, and in the crosslet hastily it fell. Now, good sirs, what will ye bet then well? When that this priest was thus beguiled again, supposing not but truth, sooth to sayn, he was so glad that I can not express in no manner his mirth and his gladness, and to the canon he proffered eftsoon body and good. "Yea," quoth the canon soon, "though poor I be, crafty thou shalt me find. I warn thee well, yet is there more behind." "Is any copper here within?" said he. "Yea, sir," the priest said, "I trow there be. Else go buy us some, and that has swithe. Now, good sir, go forth thy way and hie thee." He went his way, and with the copper came, and this canon it in his hands name, and of that copper weighed out an ounce, too simple is my tongue to pronounce. As minister of my wit, the doubleness of this canon, root of all cursedness, he friendly seemed to them that knew him not, but he was fiendly both in work and thought. It wearieth me to tell of his falseness, and natheless yet will I it express, to that intent men may beware thereby. And for none other cause truly, he put this copper in the crosslet, and on the fire as swithe he hath it set, and casted powder, and made the priest to blow, and in his working for to stoop low, as he did erst, and all was but a jap. Right as him list the priest he made his ape, and afterward in the ingot as he cast, and in the pan he put it at the last of water, and in he put his own hand, and in his sleeve, as ye beforehand heard him tell, he had a silver tein. He silly took it out, this cursed heen, unweeting this priest of his false craft, and in the pan's bottom he it laughed, and in the water rumbleth to and fro, and wondrous privily took up also the copper tein, not knowing thilke priest, and hid it, and him hent by the breast, and to him spake, and thus said in his game, "Stoop now adown, by God, ye beat to blame. Help me now, as I did you will. Put in your hand, and look what is there." This priest took up this silver tein anon, and then said the canon, "Let us gon with these 3 teins which that we have wrought to some goldsmith, and weet if they be aught. For by my faith I would not for my hood, but if they were silver fine and good, and that as swith well proved shall it be." Unto the goldsmith with these teins 3 they went anon, and put them in assay. To fire and hammer might no man say nay, but that they weren as ought to be. This sotted priest, who gladder was than he? Was never bird gladder against the day, nor nightingale in the season of May? Was never none that better list to sing, nor lady lustier in carolling, or for to speak of love and womanhead, nor knight in arms to do a hardy deed, to stand in grace of his lady dear, than had this priest his craft for to lear. And to the canon thus he spake and said, "For love of God, that for us all died, and as I may deserve it unto you, what shall this receipt cost? Tell me now." "By Our Lady," quoth this canon, "it is dear. I warn you well, that save I and Frere, in England there can no man it make." "No forth?" quoth he. "Now, sir, for God's sake, what shall I pay? Tell me, I you pray." "Ye wise," quoth he, "it is full dear, I say. Sir, at one word, if that you list it have, ye shall pay 40 pounds, so God me save, and near the friendship that ye did there thus, to me ye should pay more ye was." This priest the sum of 40 pound anon of nobles fet, and took them every one to this canon for this ilk receipt. And all his working was but fraud and deceit. "Sir priest," he said, "I keep to have no loss of my craft, for I would it were kept close. And as ye love me, keep it for if men known all my subtlety, by God, they would have so great envy. To me, because of my philosophy, I should be dead. There were no other way." "God it forbid," quoth the priest, "what ye say. Yet had I lever spend all the good which that I have, and elsewhere I would, than that ye should fall in such mischief. For your good will, sir, have ye right would prefer," quoth the canon, "and farewell, grand mercy." He went his way, and never the priest him saw after that day.